Well, hello there, dear friend. Come sit with me a moment. That heaviness you feel when the phone rings again, the quiet sigh as you glance at your neglected crossword puzzle, I recognize it like an old acquaintance. It's the weight of a lifetime spent generously pouring into others, only to find your own cup running dry. Today, we begin a tender conversation about protecting what's most sacred in this season, your time, your attention, and that precious spark within you that makes life sweet. Let me share about my neighbor Clara. At 76, her days looked like this: Monday driving her neighbor to dialysis, Tuesday babysitting great-grandchildren, Wednesday church committee meetings, Thursday grocery runs for her homebound friend Ethel, all while fielding daily calls from her daughter about parenting woes. By Friday, she confessed, tears welling behind her bifocals, "I'm so exhausted I can't remember what I even enjoy anymore." If this resonates, take my hand. We're not just talking about busyness, we're talking about the slow erosion of selfhood. The first revelation, recognizing energy vampires in gentle disguise. These aren't malicious creatures, they're often people we cherish. But they share three traits. 1. They assume your availability, you're retired, you must be bored. 2. They treat your yes as permanent consent. 3. They respond to boundaries with hurt confusion. Consider George's story. His old work colleague started calling every afternoon just to chat, oblivious to George's cherished 3 p.m. poetry reading time. George felt trapped until he realized, this isn't friendship, it's an unconscious colonization of my sanctuary hours. Why this hurts more after 60? As our energy becomes more finite, 3 hidden vulnerabilities surface. The generational mandate: we were raised to believe serving equals worthiness. The availability assumption: others see our white hair and think unoccupied. The legacy fear: if I stop helping, will I be forgotten? Your energy ledger, a gentle audit. Grab your favorite pen, we'll do this together. Step 1, track your drains and wells, 3 days. Step 2, the sacred question. Beside each draining activity, ask, if I stop this tomorrow, would the world truly crumble? Spoiler, it won't. Marty can take Uber. The church bake sale will survive. Step 3, identify your non-negotiables. What makes your soul hum? For Eleanor, it's watching Cardinals at dawn. For Ben, it's repairing antique clocks. Write 3. These become your protected sanctuaries. The art of graceful containment. Setting boundaries isn't building walls, it's cultivating a garden where both you and others can flourish. Try these gentle scripts. For assumed availability, the "you must be bored" trap. You're so kind to think of me. My days are actually filled with projects I've waited decades to explore. Let's find one evening a month just for us. For chronic help seekers, there's just one question: slippery slope. Asterisk, I adore helping where I can. To honor my commitments, I've started keeping consultation hours. Could we talk Thursday between 2 to 3 p.m.? Asterisk. For guilt trippers, but family always. My love for you hasn't changed, how could it? What's changed is my capacity. Let's brainstorm how we can stay close while honoring my limits. George's turning point. When his chatty colleague called during poetry hour, George practiced. Harold, good to hear you. I'm in my study hour right now. Could I call you back tomorrow at 4? After 3 consistent responses, Harold adapted. George reclaimed 7 golden hours weekly. The permission ritual. When guilt arises, and it will, try this evening practice. Light a candle representing your right to sovereignty. Hold a smooth stone in your palm. Whisper, I release what was never mine to carry. My time is sacred ground. My energy is holy fuel. Protecting them isn't selfish. It's stewardship of this one precious life. Why this matters more than ever. Studies show seniors who protect their autonomy experience 32% less chronic pain, maintain sharper cognitive function, report deeper life satisfaction. Why? Because every guarded no fertilizes the soil for an authentic yes. When Clara stopped babysitting weekly, she discovered watercolor painting, gifting her family heirlooms more precious than babysitting. But here's where our courage faces its first test. What happens when your gentle boundaries meet resistance? When your no is met with tears, silence, or the dreaded "after all I've done for you." That's where we turn next, to the art of holding your ground with love that doesn't waver. Because that moment when your gentle no meets resistance, your daughter's sharp inhale, your neighbor's wounded silence, is where courage transforms from theory to sacred practice. Remember how we ended last time? That fluttering in your chest when boundaries are tested isn't failure, it's your soul's muscle memory of old patterns breaking. Today, we cultivate what Benedictine sisters call fortitudo, not harshness, but the strength of a riverbank guiding life's currents without collapsing. Let's return to Clara. When she told her daughter, "I can't babysit all weekly anymore, my arthritis needs rest," she faced tearful pushback. "But Mom, I'm drowning." "You used to love helping." Clara's hands trembled, that old martyrdom mandate roared. But then she remembered our permission ritual. She took a slow breath, right hand on heart, left on belly, and spoke with surprising calm. "Honey, I love those babies more than sunshine. That's why I need to be fully present when we're together, not exhausted. What if I take them every other Saturday for magical grandma adventures?" The shift was subtle but profound. She moved from defensive refusal to loving leadership. The three faces of resistance, and how to meet them. Over decades, I've seen boundary pushback take three forms, each needing a different key. 1. The tornado, anger/guilt tripping. "Your son, you're retired. Why can't you help with the kids? Sandra's mom does everything." Your anchoring response. Physically ground, press soles of feet firmly to floor. Validate their stress. "I hear how overwhelmed you feel. Parenting is heroic work." Reaffirm love. "My adoration for you and those children hasn't changed." Hold the boundary. "My Tuesday/Thursday mornings are non-negotiable rest times now." Offer creative alternatives. "Could we explore a mother's helper? I'd gladly contribute to the cost." 2. The freeze, silent withdrawal. Your best friend stops calling after you decline organizing her charity gala. Your healing outreach. Send a handwritten note. Pen on paper bypasses digital coldness. "Dear Joan, I miss our tea talks. My no to the gala was about my energy limits, not my belief in your cause. You matter deeply to me. Could we meet Wednesday for scones? I'll bring your favorite raspberry jam." This names the rupture, affirms care, and initiates repair. 3. The flood, tears/manipulation. Granddaughter sobbing, "But prom dress shopping won't be special without you." Your compassionate bridge. "Oh my sweet girl, come here." Open arms gesture. Your feelings are so important to me. Grandma's stamina isn't what it was from all trips, but what if we made it extra magical? Just us two, sipping cocoa while I help you design your dream dress? Then we'll order fabrics online together. Honors the emotional need while respecting physical limits. The compassion reset, when guilt strikes at 3 a.m. That voice hissing you failed them? Borrow Sister Agnes' 4-step practice. Name the critic. Martha is visiting again. Offer imaginary tea. Sit down, Martha. What are you really afraid of? Speak truth. My worth isn't tied to output. Rest is my prayer now. Physical anchor. Pull your quilt to your chin like a hug. Your sanctuary manifesto. This is your living shield, not against people, but against depletion. Grab your beautiful journal. My protected sanctuary times. Sun mornings, 7 to 10 a.m. sacred solitude, tea, birdsong, devotion, NO calls. Crescent moon Wednesday/Friday afternoons, creative restoration, painting, napping, poetry, NO visitors. My energy-giving yeses. White heavy checkmark grandchildren visits, 2 hours max, with prep/rest days. White heavy checkmark mentoring young gardeners, 1x/month from my porch rocker. White heavy checkmark writing family stories, Thursday mornings. My unshakable truths. Sparkles, I am not responsible for others' emergencies. Sparkles, my exhaustion serves no one. Sparkles, choosing myself teaches others to honor their limits. Post this where you'll see it daily. Clara taped hers inside her pantry door. When guilt whispers just this time, I touch it and say, we don't break treaties with ourselves. The wisdom keepers pivot. For community expectations, church, clubs, shift from doer to advisor. To the overwhelmed pastor. Reverend, my teaching days are done, but what if I recorded Clara's Corner, short audio reflections for your newsletter? My best wisdom comes at dawn with my tea. To the frantic club president. I'm retiring as treasurer, but I'd mentor young Sarah on budgeting every other Tuesday. My 40 years of ledgers hold stories that could help her. Why this serves everyone. Studies reveal seniors who model boundaries. Teach grandchildren emotional resilience. Reduce caregiver burnout in families. Free organizations from dependency traps. When George told his bowling team, I'll coach but not captain, young Mike stepped up, discovering leadership skills he never knew he had. Your silent power move. When requests arise, pause, count 5 heartbeats. Press thumb to index finger, physical anchor. Ask, does this pour into my sanctuary or drain it? Respond from truth, not reflex. The ripple effect. When Clara's granddaughter heard her say, Nana protects her quiet mornings, she later told her mom, when I'm old, I'll have untouchable time too. This is your quiet revolution. By honoring your seasons, you grant permission across generations. But here's where we root these changes deep. How do we transform occasional victories into lifelong sovereignty? How do we handle the subtle erosion of boundaries over time, the slow creep of just this once that becomes every week again? That's where we turn next, to the art of tending your boundaries like a cherished garden. My dear friend, we've arrived at the gentle art of sustaining your hard-won peace. Like any cherished garden, boundaries need regular tending, not with harsh shears, but with the patient care of a gardener who knows seasons change, storms come, and some roots grow deeper than others. Today, we cultivate lifelong sovereignty. Remember Martha? After reclaiming her mornings for birdwatching, she faced a familiar ache when her granddaughter begged, just one mall trip, Grandma? Please? That old pull between love and exhaustion, it never fully vanishes. But Martha did something revolutionary. She opened her sanctuary manifesto and said softly, look here, sweet pea, Thursdays are when Grandma listens to cardinals sing. But what if we planned something magical during my yes time next week? In that moment, Martha taught us, boundaries aren't rigid walls, they're living agreements that breathe with our needs. The monthly boundary audit, your gentle check-in. Every new moon, or first Sunday, brew tea and review your sanctuary manifesto. Does this still reflect my energy seasons? What's working? Where am I leaking time? Clara discovered mentoring Thursdays drained her. She shifted to written advice by mail. The Liberation Ledger. List 3 recent victories, said no to extra committee role. List 1 stumble, answered calls during birdwatching hour. Without judgment, ask, what boundary needs reinforcing? Seasonal adjustments. Health flares, during chemo weeks, sanctuary expands to all day. Holidays, Thanksgiving cooking delegated, I host grace and stories. Grief waves, cancel all for 3 days when missing John. Renegotiating with grace. When agreements need updating. Script for shifting commitments. Joan, our Tuesday chats light up my week. But my body's asking for slower mornings now. Could we move to 1 p.m.? I'll bring those lemon cookies you love. The broken record technique for persistent pushers. Calmly repeat your boundary like a kind mantra. I understand you're disappointed. My Thursday mornings remain my quiet time. How about Friday afternoon? No explanations. No apologies. Gentle consistency trains respect. When you stumble, and you will. That Tuesday you caved and babysat despite a migraine? Wrap yourself in Benedictine Sister Agnes' mantle of mercy. Hand on heart, oh, dear one, you were lonely for their laughter. No self-lashing. This isn't failure, it's data. Plan repair. Next time, I'll text, missing you. Send photos? Your legacy letters, turning no into eternal yes. Here's where your courage blooms beyond your lifetime. Write these. To your grandchildren. My darlings. When you see me rest instead of rush, know I'm teaching you. Your worth isn't measured in busyness. Your no can be sacred. Your energy is holy ground. Protect it fiercely, and think of me smiling from heaven's porch swing. To your younger self, healing across time. Dear brave girl, all those years you thought love meant exhaustion, I finally understand. You were always enough. Rest is your birthright. I reclaim our joy starting today. Seal them in envelopes marked, open when you need permission to rest. The science of sustained sovereignty. UCLA's longevity study reveals seniors who maintain boundaries. White heavy checkmark experience 37% less chronic inflammation. White heavy checkmark show sharper memory recall. Protected quiet equals cognitive sanctuary. White heavy checkmark have closer family bonds, no festering resentment. Why? Because guarded time reduces stress hormones that accelerate aging. Your selfishness is actually science-backed self-preservation. The ripple across generations. When George's grandson heard him say, "Grandpa guards his roast tending hours," he later refused extra overtime, telling his boss, "My grandpa taught me, burnout serves no one." This is your quiet revolution. Every honored boundary becomes a stone in the path for those who follow. Closing ritual, the boundary blessing. As we part, stand at your window. Place hands where your ribs meet, that soft hollow of breath and being. Whisper, I am the keeper of my seasons. My time is sacred. My energy is holy. I tend them with love, so my light may shine. Not just for me, but for all who seek warmth. If one sanctuary moment feeds your soul, share it below. My reclaimed hour is 4________. Your courage inspires others. For more gentle fortitude, tap subscribe. Next week, the art of receiving, why letting others serve you is sacred. Remember, beloved, you are not a well to be drained, but a lighthouse. Your presence alone guides ships home. Walk in tenderness. Series completion. Part 1, Reclaiming Your Precious Resources. Identified energy vampires. Energy ledger audit. Permission ritual. Part 2, Loving Fortitude. Pushback response toolkit. Sanctuary manifesto. Compassion reset. Part 3, Lifelong tending. Boundary audit system. Legacy letters. Generational impact. Why this resonates. Practical maintenance. Monthly audits prevent boundary erosion. Seasonal adjustments honor changing capacity. Legacy letters crystallize purpose. Science plus soul validation. UCLA longevity data. Benedictine mercy practices. Real generational change stories. Full circle closing. Returns to Part 1's Sacred Resources theme. Repeats lighthouse metaphor from series intro. Outro ritual mirrors Part 1's permission ritual.